If you had to choose between an easy life and a hard life, what would you choose? A lot of people would actually choose the easy life without even having second thoughts about it. But what if I told you that the easy life that you choose now will become hard in the long run, and that doing the hard things now is the key to actually having the easy life for your future? Let me explain. Having an easy life sounds like the ideal lifestyle. No stress, no hardships, no obstacles, nothing that will keep your mind busy, no worries, and nothing to go wrong. But at some point, there will be a path in your life where you feel like the hardship that you felt in the past is probably the most important thing that you have done in your life. The easy things that you do now makes your life harder in the long run, and vice versa. The hard things that you do now in life makes your life easier in the long run, within reason, of course. I'm not saying this to say that, hey, go out there and live the hardest life that you've ever lived. I'm definitely not saying that. I'm not saying to torture yourself. I'm not saying to punish yourself. I'm just saying that there's more to life than just taking the easy route and taking the easy path. But of course, that raises the question, right? If the whole point of doing the hard things now makes our life easier and we already have an easy life, what's the point of choosing the hard path or the hard route or the hard things? Why bother? The answer is simple. An easy life today doesn't guarantee an easy life tomorrow. Growth, discipline, self growth, self development comes from pushing ourselves beyond what we are capable of. And sometimes pushing ourselves in ways where we don't even know that that was our potential. It's pushing ourselves beyond our comfort zone. When challenges inevitably arise, we have the resilience and the mindset to overcome them. But again, the reason why we're doing the hard things now is to not just avoid future struggles. It's about reaching our full potential. If we never challenge ourselves now, if we don't do the hard things now, we stagnate. We become comfortable. Hard things push us to learn, to evolve, to grow. It creates a more meaningful life rather than just a comfortable one. Life will consistently always have challenges for you. Life will consistently get harder for you. But when you choose to do those hard things for yourself, you become stronger, you become disciplined, and you become better prepared for whatever comes next. We live now in the modern age where it's super easy to become comfortable. It's super easy to live an easy life. While this doesn't apply to everyone out there in the world, we are 100% much better than our ancestors was back then. True resilience, true growth doesn't happen when we actually choose the easy life, when we choose to stay comfortable. It's built by facing the challenges and the obstacles and the hardships head on. By adding small, difficult, and challenging tasks to our daily routine, you build momentum, you build the discipline, you build the resilience in your mindset. And having that mental toughness over time, it becomes harder and harder for you to feel the hardships of life, because every hardships of life that you face upon, it becomes easier because you already chose the hardships of life in the past. I'm not David Goggins. I'm not one of those people who are tough and rough and macho, and I'm not trying to be one of those. I'm just trying to share and spread what I learned from the past few years and the short past few years that I've lived here in this earth. I'm not perfect. I won't say that I won't choose the easy path whenever it's given a choice to me. But there will be times where I am aware that choosing the hard path, choosing the hard things can benefit my life much, much better in the long run. Now, I want to share with you how you could build and do some challenging tasks on your day to day life without torturing yourself, without feeling like you're punishing yourself, but just small little challenging tasks on your daily routines that could help you build a little bit more resilience in the long run. Start your day with a cold shower. I know. This has been repeated so many times now. Taking a cold shower every day or taking a shower every morning, it boosts your immunity, it boosts your self confidence, it boosts your resilience. Once you take a cold shower in the morning, just forget whatever happens to your body. When you take a cold shower in the morning, it's that mental obstacle in your mind that's saying it's going to be uncomfortable. It's going to be hard going into that shower because it doesn't feel good to go into a cold shower. But once you pass through that mental barrier, that mental obstacle that you have, just 5, 10, or 15 seconds into that cold shower, you already passed through that obstacle in your mind. You already did the hard thing. Now it's up to you. You can just get out of there. You already did the hardest thing, is to just getting into the cold shower. But doing that over time, doing that consistently as much as possible builds a little bit of a mental toughness in your mind. And again, it's uncomfortable. It's just taking that action of building that mental awareness that I'm going to do something hard today. I'm going to do something difficult today. And that would probably be translated throughout the rest of your day. Once you're done with that, do something that you have been avoiding. That may be a big project, a small tasks, a chore, an errand that you really are trying to procrastinate doing in. Facing that procrastination head on, and again, building that mental resilience, building that mental hardness in your mind just to take that action and to face that obstacle head on is much, much beneficial for your mindset. Exercise when you don't feel like it. This could be just even 10 minutes. Go out for a walk. Just no matter what kind of exercise it is, do a squat, do a push up right now. No matter what kind of workout that is, it just builds that momentum that, hey, I'm doing something difficult. I'm doing something a little bit challenging. I'm not even just gonna think about it. I'm just gonna do. I'm just gonna act. I'm just gonna take that action. I'm gonna not think about it. I'm not gonna overthink it. Just go on the floor, do 10 push-ups, do 5 push-ups, do 1 push-up, do something. Just take that action of building that mental toughness. Take the harder option, take the harder route. What I mean about this is, first thing that came into my mind is traveling, going to work. Now, I am fortunate enough that my work is close to my home. It is physically possible for me to walk to work. It's probably like a good 20, 30-minute walk. So as much as possible, I do try to take that route. I try to take the 20, 30-minute walk instead of driving. One, it saves on gas. Two, it gets me a little bit of an exercise. And three, it makes me feel like I'm doing something challenging for the day. Now, again, it doesn't have to be the walking to work, right? There's not a lot of people out there who are physically capable of walking miles and miles going to their work. But if you got the stairs at work, going to the office that you have, take the stairs route. Or even another example is even just not eating out. Cooking your meals at home is much more beneficial for you than just the empty calories that you eat outside. Again, given you might be eating healthy outside, but it's much cheaper to even just cook at home than eating out. These small choices builds endurance over time and keeps your momentum going. Read or learn something rather than scrolling through social media. I've been guilty of this, of just laying down in my bed or sitting down on the couch and just scrolling through my social media, mindlessly scrolling. Again, from time to time, there's really no harm in that. You're just mindlessly scrolling. There's no harm in that whatsoever. Where the harm happens is if you do it constantly every freaking day. Just having that awareness that you're doing this mindlessly, you're doing something that you're not really proud of. You're already starting to have that mental capacity to say, you know what, I might choose a different route. Instead of scrolling through social media for 30 minutes, pick up a book, no matter what book it is. Even it can even be a textbook. Just read for 30 minutes, no matter what it is, just a passage, a paragraph, or whatever it is. Just choosing to read instead of scrolling is much healthier for us in the long run. Or even just sit down on a couch and listen to a podcast, an educational podcast, no matter what it is. Something that you can learn. Learning on the daily and makes it feel a little bit more that you learn something every day. Well, there is that saying, right? Like you learn something every day. So read something, listen to something, and you will learn something every day. Have a deep conversation instead of just having small talks or shallow talk. When you're with someone, be that with your loved one, be that your family member, be that whoever it is, even a stranger. As much as possible, have deep, provoking questions with them, not just something about how's the weather. Again, I'm guilty of this most of the time. It does use a lot of brain power to have a good, deep, meaningful conversation. But whenever you do, it's much more meaningful. There's much more benefit in having those kind of conversations with someone. because you feel like you learned something from them. You feel like you got some kind of knowledge from them. And the counterpart to that is probably you gave them something that they could learn as well too. With all this, you're actively listening. You're teaching yourself how to actively listen, which is such an underrated skill, by the way. But by doing that, it makes the conversation much, much more meaningful. Write down your thoughts or your goals daily. I usually do this at the end of my day because in the morning I don't really have any thoughts at all. I'm too groggy to even just write down anything. But at the end of the day, I do have a lot of thoughts in my mind of what happened throughout the day, what were the emotions that I felt, what went wrong, what went right. I have a lot of things to write about at the end of the day. Now, you could write all this down into your journal, into a piece of paper, into anything actually. You can just write it down on a blank note, toss it away if you don't want to see it ever again. Just writing it down and keeping all that thoughts into a piece of paper is so much beneficial for our mind and for our long-term health. It helps us with clarity. It helps us with long-term growth. It helps us with defining what our thoughts are actually, why we're thinking what we're thinking of, and maybe break it down into small little pieces and just reflecting of what happened throughout the day. I use my journal app on my iPhone, the regular journal app on my iPhone, and I write it down over there. I used to do a physical notebook, but I found myself using the phone app more because it's much more convenient for me that I could just do it every night without even thinking about it. Practice self control with food or spending. Skip on unnecessary snack. Try to resist impulse buying of any kind of fast food, or sometimes even just extend your fasting period. Don't nibble on something even if you're not hungry just because you're bored, which I am also guilty of that, by the way. This little acts of discipline builds your resilience over time. It's challenging, it's hard, sometimes when you're hungry, you just naturally grab for food and just eat them, no matter what food that is. But again, just having that awareness that, hey, I'm hungry right now, but I know I could extend this for a few more hours until I get home and I find something to cook. If you really are hungry, then you cook something for yourself for tomorrow. And then you eat that food. This will help your pocket in the long run. Trust me. I've had a problem of eating out almost on a daily back then. Mostly because I was lazy of cooking, and I used to justify myself by saying that I don't know how to cook. I might burn something. Let me just eat out. It's much safer. Cooking is not that hard. Boiling an egg, cooking a hot dog, just adding broccoli, adding carrots, adding a rotisserie chicken. Come on, it's not that difficult. I am someone who does not know how to cook at all whatsoever, but I will try to learn as much as possible so that I could just have a healthy lifestyle. Work on a personal project every day. There's a few things that I always wanted to in the past, like even this YouTube video, and I've always procrastinated doing them because I always try to say to myself, I don't know how to film, I don't know how to edit, and I don't know what equipments I should use. There's so much excuses that I say to myself for not doing the things that I want to do. But now I just take action and I just say, F all that. Just gonna put my camera in front of me and talk. Talk about anything that I'm interested in and anything that I want to share to the world. Work on a personal project for you might not be a YouTube channel. It can be something small, like learning a new skill, like playing the guitar, or just even small projects in your career. Maybe there's a thing that your manager is asking you to do so that you could get a promotion. Start doing that little by little every day. And by progressing to something that will reach your goal, it will benefit you. It will be much beneficial for your life in the long run. And then, of course, at the end of the day, go to your bed without your phone. We know this. All of us, we know that we're addicted to our phones whenever we go to bed. I'm guilty of that. I'm still working on that one. Whenever I go to bed, the first thing that I do is watch a movie or just scroll through YouTube videos. I know that it's not the healthiest sleeping habit for me. So I know that I need to replace it with something healthier, such as meditation or reading a book, or sometimes just laying there and not looking at anything at all and just being with your mind is much more beneficial than just looking at something. I'm saying this because I know that a lot of people out there find comfort in doing that. And again, you can do it. I'm not gonna stop you from doing it because again, it is comfortable. So it just feels comforting to be doing that at the end of the day where you did all the challenging and hard tasks that you chose to do. So maybe you are just rewarding yourself by doing that. But if you have the choice of not doing it and you feel like it's damaging your health in the long run, then try to do an alternative and try to replace it with a healthier option. Again, all the tasks and all the challenging daily routines that I said is manageable. It's not soul crushingly difficult, but over time, these challenging and hard tasks becomes habits and routines, and it becomes your lifestyle, and your life itself becomes easier because those hard things are not even hard to you anymore. It just becomes easier. So the next time you're faced with a choice of something easy or hard, consider taking the hard path. Your future self will thank you for it.